They had smelled nothing but forest, and had seen nothing but animals. Cows sleeping upright, or grazing unattended in meadows, foxes darting into and out of the foliage, even large horned ibex high on the rocks of sheer mountain passes. Alpha Group were no strangers to Dagestan, but they had more experience operating in nearby Chechnya because, frankly, there were more terrorists to kill in Chechnya than in Dagestan, though Jama'at Shariat seemed to be doing its best to catch up to their Muslim brothers to the west. Chechnya was more mountains and forest, the major conflict zones of Dagestan more urban. But this location, tonight's Omega, or Objective, split the difference. Wooded hills of rock all around a tight cluster of dwellings, bifurcated by dirt roads, each road sporting a trench down the middle to drain the rainfall lower toward the river. The soldiers had dropped their 3-day packs a kilometer back, removing from their bodies everything save for tools of war. Now they moved with supreme stealth, low-crawling through the pasture just above the village, and then bounding in 2-man teams through a corral. They passed their sniper team at the edge of the village, and began darting between the structures, a feed shed, an outhouse, a single-family dwelling, and then a baked brick and tin-roofed tractor shed. As they progressed, the men eyed every corner, every road, every black window, with their NODs, night observation devices. They carried AK-105 rifles, hundreds of rounds of extra 5.45 by 39mm cartridges in low-profile magazine chest rigs that allowed them to lie flat on the ground to hide from either a sentry's eyes or an enemy's gunfire. Their green tunics and green vests of body armor were smeared with mud and covered with grass stains and wet with melted snow and the sweat of their exertion even out here in the cold. On their belts, holsters held 40 caliber pistols, the Russian Varzhak model MP445. A few also carried suppressed 22 caliber pistols to muzzle guard dogs with a hushed 45 grain hollow-pointed admonishment to the head. They found their target's location, and they saw movement in front of the barn. Sentries. There would be others in nearby buildings. Some would be awake, though their alertness would suffer this time of year. The Russians made a wide arc around the target, cradling their rifles and crawling on their elbows for a minute, before going to their hands and knees for 2 minutes more. A donkey stirred, a dog barked, a goat bleated, but nothing out of the ordinary for early morning in a farm village. Finally, the 8 soldiers spread around the back of the building, 4 groups of 2, covering predetermined fields of fire with their Russian rifles, each weapon topped with an American EOTech holographic laser sight. The men peered intently at the red laser aiming reticle, or more specifically, at the piece of window or door or alleyway that the red laser aiming reticle covered. Then, and only then, did the team leader whisper into his radio. Position. If this had been a regular hit on the terrorists' stronghold, Alpha would have arrived in big armored personnel carriers or helicopters, and airplanes would have rained rockets on the village, while Alpha leapt from their APCs or repelled to the ground from their transport helos. But this was no regular hit. They'd been ordered to attempt to take their target alive. FSB intelligence sources said the man they were after knew the names, locations, and affiliations of virtually all the jihadist leadership in Dagestan, Chechnya, and Ingushetia,